Good evening, sir. Very good evening to you all in an international e-conference which is organized by Sri Kumaraswamy Mahavidyalaya Avsa, District Latur in Maharashtra State. Let me clear, dear participants, we are continuing the 1 week series in an international e-conference. As we know, from last 3 days, the keynote speaker, Dr.Radhika Wadhera, she is presenting her views upon the topic outcome-based education for today's session. So I heartily welcome to you, madam, for the dais. I welcome the chief organizer of an international conference, Honorable Dr. M.M.Betkar, sir. Also welcome all those dear attendees. As we know, dear participants, she is associate professor, also a IQAC coordinator. She is from New Mumbai, serving at the college, Rajiv Gandhi College of Medical Studies from Navi, Mumbai. So with this brief introduction, now I request you, madam, please start your presentation on today's topic, outcome-based education. You are most welcome.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Hope we are doing good. So today we will be talking about NAC criteria 3 that talks about course outcome and program outcome. So before we start, I just want to help you with understanding of what is course outcome, what is program outcome, why are we studying this, why is it important. So we need to understand that before like 1.5 years back in NAC, if you go for NAC cycle and you do not have your course outcomes made of, or if you do not have your program outcomes made, it made no difference. You used to get whatever marks have been assigned in that particular criteria. But in 1 or 2 years, there have been many changes wherein everybody is saying that we need to apply outcome-based education in academics. So when we talk about outcome-based in academics, what does it mean? We need to understand that. We talked about our vision, we talked about the mission. After vision and mission, there come the program outcomes. Now, what are the program outcomes? Program outcome is something that has been given to the management colleges or the engineering colleges or the pharmacy colleges by National Board of Accreditation. So they have given some 5 outcomes to management people. They have given 11 program outcomes to engineering people. So this is how in pharmacy and in other allied areas the outcomes have been divided. So when we are talking about program outcomes, after completing the course, when I say course, a course is for the program itself. If a student is completing its MMS program, or the student is completing the medical program, or the student is completing the pharmacy program, or the student is completing the engineering program. So after that program, what is happening? The student needs to learn the program outcomes. So I will share my screen in order to make you understand in a better way. Just a second. So do let me know if the slide is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah, thank you so much. So program outcomes, they have been given by National Board of Accreditation. Now, what are course outcomes? When I talk about the word course, so first, again, I'll put some light on this. Program is the one thing that we are running. For example, MBA is a program, engineering is a program, BSc IT is a program, BBA is a program, BCom is a program. What is a course? The subject that we are teaching in that particular program is known as course. So program outcome is what if the student passes from this particular program, what are the outcomes that are desired, what are the end results that are desired. Course outcome is for a particular course. For example, effective management communication is one of the courses that is being taught in MMS program. So once we have a clear idea about what is a program and what is a course, it will be easy for us to understand. Now, these are the program outcomes that have been given for MMS program or MBA that we call. There are 5 POs or 5 program outcomes that have been shared by National Board of Accreditation. What do they say? They talk about PO1 is about knowledge application, that apply management theories and practices to solve complex business challenges. If a student is completing MMS course from any college, they should be able to apply the management theories that were taught in class and the practices to solve business problems. If they are unable to do that, that simply means that the college is not doing a good job. PO2 talks about analytical thinking. So what does it say? It says that once the student is over the MMS program, they have passed the MMS program, they should be able to foster analytical and critical thinking abilities for data-based decision making. PO3 talks about value-based leadership. When we talk about value-based leadership, having self-reflection in students, having ethics in students, the social impact that we talked about in session 1, cultivating leadership abilities that are grounded in ethical and value-based principles. Then PO4, program outcome 4, talks about global and ethical insight. It talks about understanding, analyzing, communicating global, economic, legal, and ethical aspects of business. So again, this is also one of the outcomes that is desired from a student who is passing his MMS program. PO5 is again very important, and it is common for all the streams that we are talking about: teamwork and leadership. We all clearly know without teamwork and leadership, it is difficult to sustain in any world. So ability to lead themselves. Now, themselves is a term that is being used for the students. It talks about ability to lead students and others in achievement of organizational goals, contributing effectively to team environment. Now, these POs they have not been taken from anywhere. The POs have been derived from National Board of Accreditation website. If you want to check the POs that have been given for your particular course, you can log in the National Board of Accreditation, nba.org, and you will be able to find out what are the POs all about. Now, that was something that has been pre-given by NBA. Now talking about the course outcome. So here you will see the course that I'm talking about today is financial accounting. Now this code has been given by us. It is for semester 1. It is common for all the students in semester 1 and semesters 2. All the students have to take this subject. It is a core subject. It is not elective. The course code has been given by us, and year of study is the last academic year. It is 23-24. So if you will see how the statements will start, the statements will start with students will be able to. So the course has been divided into 6 course outcomes. After the student passes financial accounting exam, what should be the students be able to? So the student should be able to apply basic concepts of accounting and financial statements. So anybody from finance, they can clearly say that if we talk about basic concepts, it talks about a student should know how to prepare apply the accounting process, the items in financial accounting and revenue and capital income and expenditure. So the process that is given in accounting, a student should be able to apply this, apply depreciation and inventory. So it not only talks about understanding what is depreciation, how depreciation is done in straight line method or in other retrospective methods. It also talks about that you give them a scenario, give them a case study wherein the student are applying their knowledge to find out the depreciation. Analyze cash flow statement. If there is a cash flow statement of any company, so they should be able to figure out what is the current turnover, what is the current ratio, what is the current asset ratio, how much working capital is required in a company to run. Then CO5, the course outcome 5 talks about understanding the annual reports and basic concepts with cost sheet. So when I talk about cost sheet, it is a big document. Again, it talks about the opening stock of the current goods, the closing stock of current goods, the costs that are involved. So how do we arrive at a cost of a particular product? That becomes a part of cost sheet. So what we expect the students, that they should understand the annual reports, how to read the annual reports, and they should also be a pro in basic cost concepts that are related to the cost sheet. The last CO talks about understanding the difference between errors and frauds. Now in accounts, we all are pretty aware that when we talk about error or when we talk about fraud, so they are two different things. One is error by omission, or error is done unintentionally. But if we talk about fraud, if we change some numbers, it tells whether we have got profit or we have got loss. So again, these errors, the students should be exposed with the cases wherever errors and frauds have been done. So what we have done, now the subject coordinator who is taking care of this subject in our college, she has designed these course outcomes for a subject known as financial accounting. So if we talk about course outcomes, there can be 4 to 6 course outcomes. 5 is average, 5 is what people need, but again 4 to 6 are okay. Now you will see this table is dividing into 3 parts. One is the code, one is the course outcome, and one is the cognition. When I talk about code, this has been created by our college. When we talk about course outcome, this has been created by one of the faculties working with us. And when I talk about cognition, what is cognition level? Apply, analyze, understand. These are the cognition levels that are used. But how do we read this course outcome statement? We read it like students will be able to apply the basic concepts. Students will be able to apply the accounting process. Students will be able to apply the depreciation. Students will be able to analyze. Students will be able to understand. So everything that we are talking, we need to read it with the prefix that has been given. Students will be able to. Now, when I talk about course outcomes, we relate course outcomes to program outcomes. Now, we all know what were the course outcomes. The code that is given here, MMSC 102.1 is course outcome 1, 0.2 is course outcome 3, 0.3 is course outcome 3, thereon and therefore. Now, PO1, PO2, PO3, these are the program outcomes that we saw. So what they have done, they have mapped it. How they have mapped it, I'll again go back and show. Apply the basic concepts of accounting and financial statement. This is course outcome 1. PO1 says apply management theories and practices to solve business challenges. Here you will see apply is there. Here also apply is there. There they are saying that basic concepts of accounting should be applied. Here they are saying that management theories should be applied. So the faculty has mapped it to 3. 1, 2, 3 is the levels on which the mapping is done. 3 being the highest, 2 being moderately mapped, and 1 means slowly mapped. So similarly, in the next PO2, CO1 is mapped to PO2. That is course outcome 1 is mapped to program outcome 2. What do they talk about? Here again, the course outcome 1 says apply the basic concepts of accounting and financial statements. Now, what are we mapping it to? We are mapping it to program outcome 2. That will the students be able to apply analytical thinking or foster analytical thinking for database decision making if they understand this. So what the faculty has done, that moderately they will be able to understand this or apply this. In PO3, here they are talking about, PO3 talks about the value-based leadership. So what they are saying, that there is nowhere that we are talking about value. But again, the faculty who created this, according to her understanding, it is not mapping to program outcome 3. But if you will see here, when we are talking about errors and frauds, we are definitely talking about PO3. So we are saying यहाँ पे they haven't mapped it to, like they are saying there is no mapping. But if I am teaching this subject, I will put the mapping 2 here. Why the mapping 2 can be put here? Because PO3 talks about value-based leadership, and our CO also talks about the frauds that we will be teaching the students that have been done, and how errors and frauds can be omitted. So these two things go hand in hand. Again, this mapping shows in how much maturity a faculty has read the syllabus, what is the maturity of faculty in understanding the program outcomes, and how both things can be correlated to its best. Here you will see in the last row, MMSC 102, this is the course outcome. Here the average of the mapping strength is taken. Here it is 33222222, the average is 2.5. For this row, the average is 1.8. Here there is no average. Here there is no average. Now many of the faculties, what mistake they do is they put 0 here. But when we put 0 here, the average drags down. So we do not have to put 0 here. We have to put it is NA or it is a hyphen. It shows that it is okay, that it is not being mapped to any of the subject. There are some cases also wherein when I go for audit, what I see is they map all the COs to all the POs, and they feel that all the COs are contributing to all the POs. Again, if any subject can help you to achieve all the program outcomes at once, then what is the point of teaching other subjects? So if there is no mapping in the middle, it is also all right. But again, we need to put a lot of thought process in why we are mapping it to 3, why we are mapping it to 2, why we are mapping up to 1. These are the things that we need to put our brains into. Again, this needs a whole one session in order to explain with justification about how a program can be mapped to the course outcomes. Now, this is the Bloom's taxonomy. We were talking about cognition in the third slide. So the cognition levels that were used in that particular course outcome was understand, apply, analyze. Now, if you will see, there are some low order cognition levels. Which are the low order cognition levels? Remember, understand and apply are known as low order cognition levels. Analyze, evaluate, and create are known as high order cognition levels. So what we expect the faculty that in SEM 1, SEM 2, when we are teaching, they can apply the lower level cognitions, but when the students are graduating towards the third SEM, fourth SEM, second year, third year, the faculty should also take care that they get into the high order cognition levels. They should not only use analyze, the student should be able to evaluate the 2 balance sheets, or the student should be able to create a balance sheet from the ledger that has been provided in the question paper. So Bloom's taxonomy is one thing that we use to create our course outcomes. We can start with making the students remember the concepts that they have already studied. We can help the students to understand the concepts that we are teaching new. We can help the students to apply those concepts. We can help the students to analyze those concepts with a case study. By giving 2 case studies or mathematical models, they can evaluate what is right and what is wrong, and they can also create their own data, their own models. If we are using the higher level of cognition that is known as create. Now, after all this is done, a lesson plan is prepared. If you will see planned completion date, when did we complete this particular session? Unit 1 was there. What was the topic planned for that day? The topic planned was concept of entrepreneurship and enterprise. Now, this is a different sample that I have taken from a theory subject, that is entrepreneurship management. What was the mode of content delivery that was done? Interactive teaching with students. This unit was taught through interactive teaching to the students. How many number of hours did we give? We gave 1.5 number of hours. 1.5 घंटा पढ़ाया. To which course outcome it is related? it is related to course outcome 1. And what is the cognition level that is used here? Understand is the cognition level that is used here. So what we have done, we have broken down the syllabus into various units. The dates on which we are going to teach is given. The topic that we are going to teach is also given. How are we going to teach them? We can teach them through case study. We can teach them through group discussion. Now the number of hours remain the same, as the same amount of lecture time is allocated. And these are aligned to the course outcomes that we have already set. And these are the cognitions that we clearly already know about. After this lesson plan is made, what is the next thing that we do? We go for assessments. Now assessments can be on university level, and it can be the internal assessment that a college does. So university level, now it is not in our hands to map all the questions to the CEOs, but in internals, we can map. If we are giving a question that is based on concept of entrepreneur, what we will say? We will say that we are asking a question from course outcome 1. So if we have 6 course outcomes, all course outcomes need to be tested in university and internal level question paper. Now how the mapping is done? All the questions that are given in our CIE, that is internals, or SEE, that is semester end exam, they need to map to the course outcomes itself. Now you will see here in the second graph what I have shown, that question number 1 is not mapped to CO1. Question number 2 is mapped to CO1. Question number 4 is mapped to CO1. Question number 6 is mapped to CO1. Here ATP, attendance is given. A stands for assignment, T stands for test, P stands for presentation, AT stands for attendance. Now attendance is not mapped to any of the CEOs, but as we are affiliated to Mumba University, we have been told to take attendance and class participation as a mandatory criteria. Why no is given here? Because it does not relate to any of the course outcomes. We do not map our attendance to the course outcome. But when we are taking presentation, we are mapping it to all course outcomes. When we are taking test, we are mapping it to one course outcome, or you can map it to 2, 3, 4 course outcomes depending on when you are taking the test. When assignment was given, this was mapped to course outcome number 4. This is how we give 7 questions, and you will see that 7 questions are mapped to all the CEOs that are given. Now how do we calculate how this average 68, 61, 61 is coming? You will see the upper sheet. What the upper Excel sheet talks about, the roll number of a student is given. Question number 1 to 7, the marks that the student scored. Out of 20, roll number 1 scored 47. Out of 10, the roll number 2 in question number 2 scored 4 marks. Third question, he did not attempt. 4 question did not attempt. 5 question did not attempt. In question number 6, the student got 8 marks. In question number 7, the student got 7 marks, 6 marks. So again, the average of the class, what they have got here, out of 20, the class average was 13.6. So if I convert it into percentage, it shows that 68% marks the student has got in question number 1. So wherever question number 1 is mapped to the CO, the average here comes out to be 68. So this is how simple, using Excel formulas, this sheet has been created. After this, we also take a course exit survey. When the student is leaving the particular course, when the student is passing that course, we ask them the questions that are related to course outcome 1. I'll take you back to course outcome 1. Here we ask the question, do you agree that you have been able to apply the basic concepts of accounting and financial statements? It is again gauged on the Likert scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Again, in course outcome 2, we ask this question, were you able to apply the accounting process, the items in financial system? Third question is, were you able to apply depreciation and inventory valuation methods? Were you able to analyze the cash flow statements? Were you able to understand the annual? So this is how the questions are framed. When the questions are framed, the students answer those questions, and again this analysis is done that roll number 1 gave 5 marks, roll number 2 gave 5 marks, roll number 3 gave 5 marks, roll number 4 did not fill the form. Again the average of this is 4.9 out of 5 because the Likert scale of 5 pointer was used. So again the average is taken and course exit analysis is done. Now what is done? This is the marks in university level exam. This is the band that we have set in university level exam. This is the band that we have set in our internals. And this is our course exit survey. So what this table is trying to tell? This table is trying to tell is if the student has got average of 50 to 60, then the level that they are achieving is level 1. If the student in internals have got 50 to 60 marks, the student is achieving level 1. If the course in the course exit survey, the level is from 50 to 60, the student is achieving level 1. Here you will see in level 3, if the student is achieving marks from 70 to 100, the teacher is achieving the level 3. Again, it is same for externals, that is the university level paper. It is same for internal, that is the internal test that we as faculty give in the college, and it is the same for course exit survey that the students have marked us on. So if you will see here in the last slide, here the percentage is 98, it is in 90s. So we will say that we have achieved our level number 3 in course exit survey because it is in 90s, it is above 70 and below 100. Now we are talking about SEAs. Here again, just give me a second. Thank you. Here what we have is, we have questions, we have the average of questions, and we have the attainment that we have received. Here you will see that in question number 1, it was not correlated. Question number 2 was correlated to course outcome 1. So the marks where Y was written, the average marks are written here. For question number 4, the average marks are written here. For question number 6, the average marks are written here. The average of 61, 61 and 52 is taken. The average come out to be 58.37 and attainment is 1. Now why the attainment is 1? Because the average is 58.37 and as we can see in the table, that average of 50 to 60 marks lands up to level number 1. So this is how we have received the attainment levels in table number 1. Now this is for internal. In internal, assignment was related to CO4. So 82 marks the student has got. Presentation was mapped to all COs. The average of presentation is there. Again, as per average, the student, we have achieved 3 attainment level everywhere. Now what we have done, again for course exit survey that I already showed you, 98.10, all the marks are in 90s. So attainment level 3 has been achieved here. So this is how we find out the attainment levels. After we find out the attainment levels, we see that 80% is allocated to university exams and internal, and 20% is allocated to indirect assessment, that is also known as course exit survey. So why I have written here 0.6 plus 0.4, because I am affiliated to University of Mumbai and our course says that 60% marks of university exam and 40% internal marks are taken. So what we have done, we have taken 60% of this and 40% of 80. So what it says is that here we have achieved the final attainment wherein 60% of semester end exam is taken and 40% of direct assessments including our internal is taken. Again, the course exit survey is taken. It is at 3 and the average comes out to be 2.04, 2.52. How do we read this table? We read this table by that attainment for CO1 is 2.04, attainment for CO2 is 2.52, attainment for CO3 is 2.52, attainment for CO4 is also 2.52, and attainment of CO5 is also 2.52. So this is how the COs and POs are calculated. Now I know that whatever I told and whatever I showed, it is not a easy thing to have an appetite for, and it takes a lot of understanding in getting into the know-hows of course outcome and program outcomes. But again, if you think that you need a detailed session on this, so we can have a session, but it will take 2-3 days in order to understand how to form the COs, how the mapping is done with justification, how COs are correlated to POs. This is not something that anybody can give in 1 hour session. But again, if you get a brief idea, you can start working on the concept of course outcomes and program outcomes. I hope I have not covered it too fast. And again, the questions are invited. The more we ask, the more we learn.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the deep insight on the topic course outcomes and the programmed outcomes. Now it's time for interaction. Participants are requested, if you have any query or would like to share something, please come ahead, dear participants.
Good evening, Radhika ma'am, and good evening all participants. Thank you, Honorable Principal Dr. M.M.Betkar sir, Prashant Ogade sir, and Dr. Prakash Karad sir, and all organizing committee members. Thank you so much, ma'am. Today's topic is very good. You have made a very wonderful and excellent presentation. This lecture is beneficial and fruitful to all participants. I have 2 questions, ma'am. First question is, what are the learning objectives and program outcome? Second question is, what is the difference between the program learning outcome and student learning outcome?
Yes, sir. So I'll start one by one. When we are talking about program outcome is if we are teaching a BBA course or BSc as a course or MMS as a course or engineering as a course, what the students will take away at the end of completion of that particular program, they are termed as program outcomes. First thing. Second thing, we talked about learning objectives. If we are affiliated to any of the universities, in their syllabus, they give the course objectives itself. So they are the learning outcomes. Third thing is the course outcome, that the teacher is setting for the students. And why they are setting it? As you saw the language of the course outcomes that I was showing, students will be able to apply the methods of financial statement. So they are created by a faculty member, but they are created for the students, because the language starts from the students will be able to. This is how, so there are 3 kinds of outcomes that we are talking about. One is the program outcome, that is for the whole course. When are they applicable? They are applicable when the student finishes that particular course. Second are the course outcomes. If I am teaching a particular subject for 3 months, what I want my students to take away from it is the course outcome that I have for my particular course. Then they are learning objectives. What are learning objectives? They are given by University of Mumbai to us. Might be you have your own universities, and when you will check the syllabus, the learning objectives are given. So this is what university wants us to teach.
Core subject.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope I have made that clear. Yeah.
I'm sure that your presentation, your explanation is very wonderful and excellent. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Prashant Ogade sir, Thank you, Honorable Principal Dr. M.M.Betkar, sir.
Shyam Suresh Giri, sir, please.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Dr. Betkar, sir. Good evening, Prashant, sir. I'm very happy for your nice presentation. I get many points that your planning is excellent, and you are designing your course and for the need, and uh, you are checking the need of the students, and that is very important. And you are using a more scientific method like Bloom's taxonomy. So your course is getting very scientific, and your instructional system design is very nice. But my question is, how do you check your validity of your course? It is
Yes,
valid.
sir, again, we need to understand when we are achieving that attainment 2 and above, it simply means that what we desired for has been able to pass on to the students. Now, understand, and this is a very good question. I would like to congratulate you for asking this kind of question. See, what we have done, we have prepared a course outcome wherein we are saying that students should be able to apply the financial concepts in reading the financial statements. And what do we give in exam? In exam, we give them a P&L account and we ask them to apply the concepts that were taught in class and read the P&L account or the balance sheet itself. So here we have set that course outcome, and here we are testing that course outcome. If the student is achieving marks above 8 in that, it simply means that we are achieving our course outcome, and the validity of course outcome is being tested by us only. Hope you got your point.
Madam, do you compare your syllabus from other university, and is your college autonomous, or you take permission of any institution?
See, like I have told you since beginning, and I have told in between my presentation also, that we are affiliated to Mumbai University. Whatever we can do, we have applied for autonomy, but again, it's still a long way to go. So whatever we are doing in the premises of the Mumbai University only. So the syllabus that we get from Mumbai University, we convert the course outcomes from that syllabus only. We are not adding anything, we are not comparing anything. And in case we need that, if something is not covered in financial accounting ka syllabus from Mumbai University, of course we are going for expert lectures, like CAs are coming, and the chartered accountants are coming and covering that particular thing that we think is important for the students to know, and is not being covered by Mumbai University. And
Thank you,
again,
Madam.
yeah, again, one thing more, we are also in a habit of writing the gap that we are finding to the Board of Studies in Mumbai University. If our teacher is finding any gap that this particular course is not going to help the students, so we write a letter to Mumbai University. We are doing whatever is required to tell them that they need to revise their syllabus.
Thank you so much, ma'am. My last question is,
Yeah.
I did many courses on futurelearner.com, but
Okay.
when I see that the course material is very high quality, how do you check your course material internationally? How do you compare your course with other universities?
Yeah, see, what we need to understand is, firstly, I need to understand where my students are getting placements. So if I talk about my college, so we are not till there wherein my students are getting global placements. So again, what we have to, because we are unable to fetch the people globally, so what we have to do is, whatever we are providing them in the country itself, whether it is at par or not, that is our understanding. Again, taking feedback from employer becomes extremely important. When we take feedback from them, they tell us that these are the things that you need to include in your course. And I'm not sure whether you were there in the first session or not, as it is a chain that is being built up. So what we need to understand is that in session 2, I talked about governance, leadership, and financial resources. In that session itself, we talked about that in academic committee, the people from industry have to be there, so that when the course outcomes are designed, when we are talking about the contents of the syllabus, the people who are our current employers are equally involved with us. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome.
Anand sir would like to ask, I think. Dr. Swanand Shukla sir, please.
Good evening, Dr. Betkar sir, Prashant sir, and good evening, ma'am. Wonderful presentation. I could not join earlier, but a wonderful session must be there because COPO, it is one of the very vital subject what we are discussing here. And yeah, definitely PO and CO, when we are talking about, some people are using apps. So should we use that app? And PO, CO, usually we are applying it to the question papers only. So whether it is only applicable for question paper or some other aspects also can be covered.
No. I think that you need to see the session from the beginning, because it started from dividing the syllabus into the course outcomes. And
yeah.
If we do not know what the outcome we want from the student, understand this session is all about outcome-based education. So it simply means that we should know what is the outcome, what the students will be able to take away from my subject. So it starts from there. When you start from there, then only you can ask the questions related to it to the students. Otherwise, there will be no sync between what we are teaching and what we are asking from the students.
Usually we are getting a PO from the central government only program.
It is from National Board of
And course outcome, I think we and learning objective we are forming.
Yes.
But we are going for PO/CO mapping.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the mapping.
Yeah, mapping
So
also. I have discussed mapping also in the session.
Yeah, I'll just go through your YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. So mapping, how is means whether we should use some app or whether we should go for just manual only.
See again.
Yes,
Can you please Devidas, sir? Yeah, thank you, Prashant sir. Thank you. See, you need to understand, if we are not confident enough about our subject, going and checking a app, taking a help of a app is okay. But if I know my subject inside out, why should an app help me? I would rather pick an argument with a person who will say that this mapping is not correct in order to get a constructive criticism, rather than using any app. This is my subject. I have been teaching the subject from past 17 years. So when I know inside out about the subject, why is the app required? Again, no harm in checking for the references, but I don't know.
Many of the time it happens, the question of validity and authenticity comes, and whether the things are right or no. I think the apps, sometimes they are giving approval or something like that. Is it true, or we should go with manual? We are doing manual.
I am truly telling that I have never used any app, and I'm also listening about it for the first time. So I won't be able to comment on it. Never done that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I will just go through YouTube, and it is a wonderful topic what we are discussing today. Yeah, thank you.
Tomorrow we have a session. If you have any questions, so we can start with questions and then jump up to the another.
Yeah, I will give you some patience. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, sir.
Dr. Ajita.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Madam, on what basis the attainment level is set?
See, again, for our college, the standard operating procedure, the SOP is that IQAC gives a band depending on how the other colleges in the vicinity are doing. And there are different methods of finding the band. If we are finding the COPO attainment for the first time, the method can be simple enough. It can be like 50 to 60, 60 to 70. When we are going for outcome-based education in the next year, we can increase the band. It again depends on the IQAC coordinator, how the students are performing. What is the cutoff that you are getting the students on? If you are getting the students from cutoff of 80 to 90, definitely you can increase the band. But if the cutoff level of your college is low, the band will be shifted in the lower level. So again, the IQAC decides depending on the cutoff, the merit list cutoff that is being displayed at the end of admissions.
One more question, madam.
Yeah.
What is the process of defining course outcomes? Do you think that the respective faculty members need to do the course outcome, or whether we need to involve all the stakeholders in order to develop the course outcome of the respective subject?
Again, the same thing. The chain has started from session 1, and it talked about when we are doing the course outcome review. Again, the respective faculty is creating the course outcomes. But the course outcome has to be verified by the student. It has to be verified by the teacher. It has to be verified by the HOD of the department. It has to be verified by the employer. It has to be verified by one of the student representative, and it has to be verified by one of the parent representative. So these are the 5 people who are engaged in making of what will be taught in that particular course in order to make it effective. Hope I have answered your question, Dr. Ajita.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Devidas Kendre sir, Giri sir, Dr. Swanand Shukla sir, and Honorable Dr. Ajita ma'am. We have nicely discussed with the keynote speaker, Dr. Radhika ma'am. Now I request the chief organizer of an international conference, Honorable Dr. M.M.Betkar sir, to conclude the session. Please welcome.
Thank you, Prashant sir, and today's resource person, Dr. Radhika Wadhera madam. It's a series which is running successfully. On 13th August, we have learned about the vision, mission, PO and POs. On 14th August, we will discuss here about governance and finance, and today the important topic was course outcomes and program outcomes. Also tomorrow she will engage the session with student performance. On 18th August, faculty contribution, and at last 19th August, industry connect, alumni and continuous improvement. So these are the fractions of her speeches, and every point she is clearing every day through her speeches, presentation and the discussion. So we are getting more and more details about every point every day. Thank you madam for the detailed presentation and clarification of our participants discussion. I am thankful to you, thankful to all participants, Dr. Swanand Shukla sir, Giri sir, those who are actively involved here in discussion, Dr. Ajita madam, and who is host of this program, Prashant Ugade sir. Thank you to you, and we will meet tomorrow with the topic students' performance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I move towards the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank and sincere gratitude towards the keynote speaker who continuously joining the series, the session on time itself, leaving back all the works. So we are very thankful to you, madam. Again, you are continuing this 1 week series with your nice lectures. So really, I don't have any words to express thanks, because too knowledgeable personality you are. You are continued the session from last 3 days. So I am very, very happy, and thanks to you, madam. You are engaging the 1 week series. Thanks the chief organizer of an international conference, Honorable Dr. M.M.Betkar sir. Also thank Dr. Devidas Kendre sir, Shyam Suresh Giri sir, Dr. Swanand Shukla sir, and at last Dr. Ajita ma'am, we have nicely discussed with the speaker. And I should not forget to thank all those dear attendees who joins regularly, motivates us, encourages us. So thanks a lot to you all. Now I request you all please fill the feedback link which is given in the chat box. With the kind permission of chief organizer, I declare today's session is over. But kind request you all again to meet you at 7 p.m. tomorrow itself. Thank you so much. Bye.
And it's a urge to join the session on time so that there are a lot of linkages. It is difficult to go back and start from the beginning. And again, tomorrow's session is equally important. It talks about student performance and how it is linked to the first session. We'll get to know it. Everything that we are talking about is linked with the last session that we have done.
And
Thank you.
YouTube links are available for everyone. They should go thoroughly through every day what you have explained. So they may join on YouTube also to learn from the past sessions.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. ते लोक सबस्क्राईब करायला पाहिजे, पाहिले पाहिजेत.